Tonight's game is presented by Amerant Bank, helping you make winning money moves. Hello, good evening, and a warm welcome into Beyond Bankert Field in Fort Lauderdale, where the playoffs are beyond reach, but the shirt and the standings still matter. In-state rivals Fort Lauderdale United and the Tampa Bay Sun set their face-off for the fourth and final derby this season. Well, the Gainbridge Super League standings presented by Delta Airlines, connecting you to the bigger picture. Sporting Jacksonville, Lexington, and Carolina have all clinched. That leaves four sides fighting for one remaining spot. Brooklyn trying to stay alive tonight against the league leaders, but our focus is on last season's finalists, Fort Lauderdale and Tampa Bay Sun. 11 months back, these were the two teams in the inaugural final of this competition. Some familiar faces, Erica Timrett.
Tonight, each team is playing for pride. No one wants to finish bottom of the table, so even the playoffs are out of the question. There's a ton on the line. Emotions will be high. It'll be about which team can channel that aggression and competitiveness into 3 points.
Oh, contention, aggressiveness, and creativity from Sydney Nicello as well. One of the league's most creative playmakers. She was the MVP of that final.
She was, and she's going to be so important tonight for Tampa Bay to get on the score sheet early. She needs to find the ball. She needs touches. She needs to draw Fort Lauderdale in and then use her speed to really run at them in dangerous areas. Anytime she can face up in and around the 18, something's bound to happen. Goal contribution, foul, pen. Her shiftiness just causes so many problems, and she attracts a lot of defenders to her, so can her teammates take advantage of that and really exploit those spaces that open up?
The player to watch is brought to you by Baptist Health, trusted care for champions, and Kira Locklear back on the score sheet last week.
She's a workhorse on the press. She causes so many errors and just capitalizes on them. She's powerful, she's strong, she's pacey, but she has that ability to stretch teams in behind and then also just hold up play when needed. Fort Lauderdale need to get numbers around the ball for her tonight for her to be successful.
Meanwhile, Allie Long could be making her debut, the first World Cup winner to play in the Gainbridge Super League, perhaps.
Hoping to see her debut tonight. One of the smartest players I've ever played against. She's so tidy on the ball, often plays 1-2 touch, and she just has such a good understanding of the game, along with a playing career that most dream about.
On the bench last week, did not get a chance to debut. We might see her first minutes tonight. It's all coming up next as Fort Lauderdale United take on Tampa Bay Sun for Beyond Bankert Field. Stay with us. Kickoff on the other side.
With over 2 decades of experience in the payment industry, Beyond Bankert is more than just a payment processor. We are a partner dedicated to your success. Our mission is simple: to provide innovative, flexible payment processing solutions tailored to meet your needs.
We partner up with various companies, restaurants, retail, smoke shops, convenience store, you name it, we have the POS system for it.
Whether it's tools we provide or the relationships we nurture, Beyond Bankert is here to power your payment solutions.
Staying cool in Florida has never been easier. With all your cooling, you'll get no money down, no payments until 2027, and a 10-year parts and labor warranty. Don't wait until your AC gives out. Call us today, 855-818-3828, or scan the QR code below.
Caitlin Clark, amazing at assists. Gainbridge, the ultimate assist for your savings. But ever since they teamed up, she's taken assisting to a whole new level. Caitlin Clark, graded assists. Gainbridge, graded assists for your savings.
The player walkout is presented by Amerant Bank, bringing the community together one moment at a time. And the starting lineups are presented by LaCroix Sparkling Water, refreshing fans everywhere with every flavor. Here's a look at the starting lineup for Paul Jennison. Copy and paste from Sunday's loss at Spokane as Shania Gordon continues to wear the captain's armband.
And they'll be coming out in a 4-3-3. You can expect Gordon to get forward. She's an attacker at heart. Gonzalez will have to be super active in that midfield tonight. And then Locklear, expect every press to start with her. She's aggressive, and she's really going to put this Tampa Bay back line to the test.
Meanwhile, Denise Shelton-Brown makes just one change from Saturday's loss against Carolina. Shay Connor scored off the bench in that game and now makes her full debut, replacing Faith Webbers, while Jordan Listro anchors the midfield and captains the side.
And they're playing a 4-3-3, but you can expect them to go to a 3-back and push Sabrina McNeil up wide. She joins the attack pretty much every time they get up the field, and then Nacella will drift into those wide spaces, and Jamona will cover centrally the pitch and play that 10 role, getting on the ball and facing up often.
Those are the thoughts of U.S. international Erica Timrak. I'm Dre Cordero, thrilled to have you with us. It's week 29 in the Gainbridge Super League. The coin toss is brought to you by Beyond Bankard, setting the stage for every great moment. Well, there have been some great moments between these two sides. 11 months back, they were the two finalists in the inaugural final of the Gainbridge Super League. Some happy memories for my co-commentator today as the Tampa Bay Sun won the league's first ever championship, to go with her 2 NWSL titles.
Good times, good times.
Well, today they are looking to try and remain undefeated against their in-state rivals, Fort Lauderdale. 8 previous meetings, all either won or drawn by Tampa Bay Sun.
And it's crazy. It's always a bloodbath between these two teams. It's just, the stakes are so high. Even in a game like this, when they're both out of playoffs, it just means so much. And you can tell that it's going to be a good one tonight. And if they can just channel their emotions and an aggression, we'll see what happens. But it's definitely going to be a test tonight for each team.
In our chat with Denise Shelton-Brown ahead of this contest, said weird things tend to happen in the games against Fort Lauderdale United. Also did not take a chill approach after that elimination a week ago. Said there's still so much on the line, and for these competitors, no one wants to finish last. There's bragging rights, there's pride. There's that daunting prospect of a last place finish on the table. Fear could be a motivating factor. No fear in her. Sydney Nacella, one of the most electrifying players in this league, worth the price of admission. And once again in the starting lineup for the Tampa Bay Sun. Fort Lauderdale United in their All Blacks. It will be the Sun to kick things off, moving from left to right on your screen. With Shay Connors, who played about a half an hour off the bench at the weekend, now getting her first start for her new club. Well, the standings may not matter, the postseason may be out of reach, but the shirt and pride definitely matter. And an exciting 90 minutes ahead at Beyond Bankard Field. Both sides coming off losses that knocked them out of playoff contention at the weekend, and a chance to exercise those demons today in this latest edition of the Florida Derby. Here's Shania Gordon to put the ball back in play for Fort Lauderdale. Rinse and repeat. Fort Lauderdale 8th on the table coming into tonight. 23 points from the 25 games played. 5 wins, 2 of those have come at this stadium. It's the 4th and final meeting between these two sides. There's 1 win for Tampa Bay this season. The other 2 ended in draws, 0-0 and 1-1.
And you can already see Gordon getting up high and joining that attack. And she is an attacker at heart, and you like to see that from your outside backs, adding a numerical advantage to that attacking third area, and you have to be fit to be able to play that position, basically joining the attack and the defense every play. It's not a lot that most players can do, but she does it well.
2 of the back 4 for Fort Lauderdale among their best attacking players. Kelly Van Treek now lining up as an auxiliary center back.
Yeah, it definitely brings a new perspective, especially going from an attacker to a center back. Not a lot of players can make that transition. You see it more for the outside back position, but center back's interesting. But she's done well there, and a lot of times you need that experience and need that leadership back there as well.
Here's the aforementioned Van Treek. Maggie Mace. Abby Hugh, 2 of the newcomers brought in ahead of the spring season. In fact, Mace joining with 10 games to go. Cello Muscled off the ball that time. Here's Kira Locklear. And possession short circuits for Fort Lauderdale. It's been that new look for the Tampa Bay Sun with the back three of Hendricks, Bissett, and Chisholm. Victoria Haugen and Sabrina McNeil, the wing backs. McNeil the more attacking of those two wide players. And that does free up Carly Gimona to have more of a free role and more of a natural number 10 position in support of Sydney Nicello and Shea Connors.
Yeah, and you definitely want Gimona to have that free role where she can get on the ball and find it. A lot of times as a 10, you're not going to get it centrally, especially with the way teams press. You have to drift out to those weak side pockets and just do whatever it takes to get on the ball, and I think that's a good position for her. And then with Sydney Nicello, you kind of want that same freedom. She does best when she just drifts into spaces, and giving those two players freedom is key for Tampa Bay to be able to get on the ball and create tonight.
Patience shown out of the back here by United.
And it's interesting, we haven't really seen Tampa high press yet. So it's definitely a tactical move to sit back a little bit.
So good ball in behind for Locklear. Bissett scrambling back. Kira Locklear on her left. Square back toward the back post. And it's blasted over by Kat Gonzalez. First sight of goal for Fort Lauderdale.
And this is a good opportunity from Fort Lauderdale, and this is exactly where you want Locklear, just running at the back line, and she actually mistouches it right here. She takes her touch out wide, so she has to slot it across goal, which is the right move, but Gonzalez just can't get over it. She skies it over, and that's probably an opportunity that they're going to want to look back on and get back, but it's positive from Fort Lauderdale, and that's exactly the moments where you want to see Locklear going at the back line.
Halfordy won't get on the end of that. It'll be a throw for Fort Lauderdale. Here's our keys to the game. We'll begin with Fort Lauderdale United.
So Fort Lauderdale, they have to tidy up their box defending. It's where they fell short the last few games, and it comes down to discipline, organization, and then Tampa Bay, can they get on the score sheet early? We found that when they do, they control the rhythm of the game. They control that tempo, but when they don't score in the first half, then they really struggle to gain any type of momentum in the game.
This is one back by Gonzalez, poked loose. Collected by Emily Thompson. Haley Craig now making her 9th start and goal for Fort Lauderdale.
And it seems like Tampa Bay are sitting back in a mid-block press, especially the first 5 minutes when you expect teams to high press, at least the first 5, but they're already sitting back into that mid-block and kind of just waiting for Fort Lauderdale to make a mistake.
Back in play through Haugen. Nicello, it's a lovely turn by Sydney Nicello. Just clipped, and that will lead to a free kick for the Tampa Bay Sun.
And Sydney Nicello just getting on it early and getting fouled, and we can expect a lot of that this game. She's just that type of player. She keeps the ball very close to her body. She's very hard to defend. She's shifty, she's slippery, and it's what she does best. And if she can earn these fouls in important parts of the pitch, then Tampa Bay Sun can capitalize on that, especially in a game where they can't find the score sheet. Set pieces are the best way to get into a game.
Well, it's Nicello calibrating, standing over the ball. Flipped in toward the center of the box, is headed down and gathered up by Haley Craig on the bounce.
It's actually a good ball from Nicello. She kind of whips it in right into that 6-yard area, and she makes them have to make a play, and Vivian Bissett just gets on the end of that. She heads it down. Fort Lauderdale makes a good save. Craig gets on it, but it's positive from Tampa Bay Sun, and looking for Viv Bissett on set pieces is huge because she's an aerial threat, and she's been proven that she can score on those.
Here's Locklear starting out once more in the wide areas. Getting it back from Gonzalez, finding a pocket of space here. Underneath Thompson. Sabrina McNeil taking some of this sting off of that pass, and it's gathered up by Liz Beardsley. In terms of the injury report, plenty of absentees for both sides. Fort Lauderdale still without Julia Grosso, who was recently injured. She joins Ella Simpson, Lily McCarthy, and Molly McDougall, all unavailable. Tampa Bay without a handful of players who have been absent most of the season. Jordan Zaid, who did make her return, is now out again. Hannah Keene also missing in action.
And it's a long season. I think that injury report tells a story that it is basically 2 seasons squeezed into one, and it's a big ask from these players. And
Haugen's cross in, back post. It's a wonderful delivery, not met. And collected once more by Vivian Bissett. A couple of half chances for Tampa Bay Sun. Halferty. She Connors is clipped, but the offside flag had come up.
And this is what Tampa Bay need to do. They need to do 1-2 touch passing through the midfield, and it helps unlock, it helps draw on pressure, and then they can go longer and use their more attacking threats. But in that midfield area, unless you have space, you have to play 1-2 touch.
It's a different shape for Tampa Bay Sun in recent games, playing with 5 in defense. McNeil obviously getting forward from that left wing back spot as well. Just new connections being made, new system being worked out.
Yeah, and I don't ever think Tampa Bay Sun fully found the system that works for them this year. I know last year they used a system that fit their personnel, but because there's so much turnover, they kind of had to start from scratch, and it's really hard creating a system when players are leaving, players are coming, players are on loan. So I think they're still working out that system, but it takes time. And
well, the starters today, Beardsley, Chisholm, Halferty, and Connors, were not part of this team at the end of the fall portion of the season.
Exactly, and team chemistry is big, and it's hard to just go into a team and fit in right away. You have to get used to each other's tendencies and the system and the principles. So it's a big ask, but they're handling it well, and you can always expect Tampa Bay to be a gritty team, hard-working team, and they have that to fall back on at least.
Good switch of play. It's catapulted forward now for Jamona to chase. Working against Van Treek. Heel doesn't quite come off of the overlap of McNeil. It'll be a goal kick for Craig. Initially, it was Fort Lauderdale who appeared to start this game on the front foot, had the first real sight of goal, but seeing Tampa Bay grow into the game. 10 minutes gone. They're the ones looking a little more comfortable at the moment. Case in point.
And I think because Fort Lauderdale is good on transition, Tampa Bay Sun approach this game, let's sit back a little and make them make an error instead of pressing, having them break the press, and then being exposed on transition.
Here's Nacella with her back to goal. Clipped again, this time by Shea Moyer. And another free kick awarded to the Tampa Bay Sun. She does tend to take a lot of abuse over the course of the games, doesn't she, Nacella? Her style of play invites it, but certainly no stranger to contact.
She does. It's part of the job when you're a player like that, unfortunately.
This last touch by Moyer. It's going to be another free kick for the Sun. Different points throughout the season, we've heard Denise Schulte-Brown sort of voice her frustration and displeasure with the way that she's officiated. Call for her to be a little more protected. And swinger back post. Well, the pitch tilted in the direction of Haley Craig's goal. Not yet truly tested for the opening 10 minutes. There's a look at Denise Schulte-Brown, who led this Tampa Bay Sun team to that inaugural title last season, defeating Fort Lauderdale in extra time. Did not have to travel far from her old job at USF. Hendricks wins a throw here for Tampa Bay. A bit more play through this near side, you would think, with Serena McNeil's attacking prowess on the far side. Fort Lauderdale now with a chance to counter. It's broken up by Jamona. Hendricks. Listro. Settle the intended target, and she's won it back. Right down the line for Connors to chase after it. It was Maggie Mace who got there first, and it's cleared away finally by Craig. Listro. Foul given. Taylor Chisholm, the guilty party.
And this is Fort Lauderdale again, just being good on that direct ball. And Taylor Chisholm commits a foul. She knows what she did, but it's almost, she has to on that one. If not, Colvin's in behind and near the 18 for a chance on goal. So probably a smart foul, but Tampa Bay have to be disciplined in this box organization. It's going to be key for them.
First real set piece opportunity now for Fort Lauderdale United. Thompson measures up. It's delivered and redirected just wide of the target. Goal kick.
And it looks like she was going for a near post shot there, which is ambitious from that angle and how far that was out. Liz Beardsley definitely has the near post covered on that one.
Beardsley, one of those players brought in for this spring campaign on loan from the Houston Dash.
And Tampa Bay really have struggled with consistency with their goalkeepers. It seems like every couple games their goalies are changing, and that's one of those positions that's hard to not have stability in.
There's Gordon making inroads. Smith. Early cross looking for Gordon again. All the way from that right back spot. She is naturally a forward who is playing at right back.
Exactly, and what I like about her is that she cuts internally and drives inside, which a lot of outside backs tend to stay on that flank, and she has no problem cutting internally, playmaking, and then getting in the box to receive.
So reset possessions. Connors is applying the pressure. Van Treek over the top. It's tracked down by Chisholm, will put it out of play. Tonight's match is presented by Vera Cadillac, Buick, and GMC. Here's Halferty. Haugen trying to knock this one down. It's intercepted momentarily by Abby Hugh. Listro. So much of the Tampa Bay Sun buildup coming out of this near side.
Yeah, but Tampa Bay have to stretch Fort Lauderdale more, especially Shea Connor. She has to just be even with that back line and really stretch them. anytime you're not testing them like that, it's so easy for them to condense. But the more you can stretch them, the more space you create for the midfield to get on it and the players like Jamona and Nasello to get on the ball and really create and expose them.
Thompson plays it wide. Swung in by Smith, heart of the area. Montclair cleans up. Here's Kat Gonzalez. Cross whipped into the near side. Has it had the feeling of the previous derbies we've seen between these two teams where it does get physical, where it does seem a bit more personal?
Yeah, I would say it's off to a pretty passive start. Each team is kind of feeling each other out. Tampa Bay hasn't really pressed Fort Lauderdale like we're used to, and you see a lot of Fort Lauderdale playing in Tampa Bay's half. So right now I feel like the possession and momentum has been back and forth, but I'd say Fort Lauderdale's have seen the better of it so far.
Loose ball in the middle. It's won by Nasello. He checks her shoulder as the ball arrives. It's well defended initially, but she shrugs off the marking of Abby Hugh. Long switch. He's looking for Jamona, and they still find her. Halford does. Jamona. Van Treek scrambles to get out in front of her.
And I know Sydney Nasello is so good at breaking pressure and getting in those pockets, but I want to see her higher up the pitch. She's so dangerous when she's in and around that 18-yard box. Let the midfielders get on the ball and allow Nasello to be up there and start running at teams in the attacking third instead of picking it up at halfway and having to dribble the entire half. She does really well here, but you want her around the box.
It's a tale as old as time, isn't it? Trying to keep those quality players who want to be in possession to stay closer to goal when all they want is to get more touches.
100%. It's like a bug being attracted to light. They see the ball and they want to get on it, and I get it. I was the same exact player. I wanted to check deep, get on it, but that's what your midfield's for, and Nasello is such a dangerous player, but when she has success, she's around the 18, and sometimes she does too many jobs at once, and I think if I'm her teammate, I'm saying, hey, stay higher up the pitch, let us get on the ball, we'll find you.
Here's Van Treek. Moyer has Gordon out wide. Slightly overcooked the pass that time, allowing Vivian Bissett to jump into the passing lane. Taylor Smith. Moyer again. Gordon out wide. Drives the cross in, a little overcooked. And look how far back Nasello has come to collect. Bistro. So I'm trying to triangulate their way through the pressing of Fort Lauderdale.
And Tampa Bay do well breaking that press, but once you break the pressure, you have to go forward. Once you go back, then you invite the pressure all over again.
Jamona now working on this near side. It's a little bit of magic from Victoria Haugen.
Victoria Haugen's a good player. She's very good on the ball. She's confident, and she likes to get forward. So I'm not surprised that a lot of the play has been over on this right side tonight. I know Sabrina McNeil's running that left flank, but anywhere Sydney Nasello is, you're going to find the ball, and you're going to find a lot of the action.
Here's Maggie Mace. Now Abby Hugh. Strong on the ball from Thompson. Bissett pressing all the way to the center circle. Van Treek. Chisholm will shield the ball and usher it out. I think one of the strengths moving a player like Kelly Van Treek into that back line is the distribution out of your center backs.
Yeah, for sure, and just vision and awareness of when to go long and when to try and build out. And I think as an attacker, you have that vision of runs in the wide channel and that half space, and they're definitely trying to use that to their advantage. How's your touch, Victoria Haugen?
Lifted over the top once more as maybe a hint of an offside. One of the best quotes heard all week was from Denise Schilder-Brown, who said, "You're looking at yourself in last place. It makes you want to throw up." It gives you an idea of
100%.
just how important it is to pick up these points.
And when we spoke to her, you could feel the emotion behind her voice, and you love to see that out of the coach, the competitiveness, that willingness to just not finish bottom. It's a pride thing. And
Gemona, Marcelo, now Haugen. One's made into the 18, and over the head of Connors, it'll be tracked down by McNeil, who won't get there. So much of the attack for Tampa Bay starts out in the wide areas. Have seen a more concerted effort to swing those long balls in from the back.
for sure, but if they're going to play wide and use these and really expose them on crosses, they have to get numbers in the box. They have to have a near post run. They have to have a slot, and then they have to have that back post second wave, either from Gemona or maybe their outside back, Sabrina and McNeil, just crashing the box. But if you're going to cross it in, you have to have numbers in there. Otherwise, it's a giveaway.
That was Paul Jennison, the interim coach since back in early February. He stepped up to relieve Ali Rogers. It's his first experience as a head coach. It's Moyer who wins it back for Fort Lauderdale. Thompson. Chisholm was there, but given away. Moyer. He's unhappy to keep players behind the ball. And space in their own half. Gemona stepping forward now. Gordon. It's well defended that time. Now Halferty on the ball. And Marcelo taking up a more central position. That was intended for Marcelo, who didn't continue her run.
A player like Sydney Nacello can always expect that she wants a defeat, and that's just about learning your relationships on the field. Some players want the ball in the space, like a Sabrina McNeil. Some players want defeat, like a Sydney Nacello.
Van Treek now closed down by Connors. Moyer. Who won this time, looking for Gordon over the top, and lands at the feet of Beardsley. Hendricks.
And you can tell Tampa Bay like to play out on this right-hand side, on this right channel, and
Oh, look out. Locklear nearly able to intercept.
exactly. A player like Locklear will smell blood in the water, and you have to be really careful on that press, especially when you've gone out on the right side a few times. It becomes a little predictable.
Locklear, of course, known for scoring prowess and her attacking contributions, but as you alluded to at the start of the contest, hard-working player who put into the defensive shift as well. She just ended a 10-game goal drought last match, scoring her 6th of the campaign, now one shy of 20 goal contributions in 2 seasons for Fort Lauderdale United.
And a player like her, she's so much more than a goal scorer. She brings so much to this defensive side, and especially in today's game where pressing is so important, she's huge for this Fort Lauderdale press.
There's Listro. I'd say the same about her. There's Carly Gemona, who tests the gloves of Ellie Craig for the first time. Central in the end, and Craig able to hold on.
And that's exactly what you want out of Carly Gemona. She gets it on the half turn, right in this area centrally. She doesn't find a good enough angle on this to really test Craig, but that's positive from her. That's where you want to find her, and she can be lethal in those areas.
Mace. We'll leave it to Craig to distribute. Van Treek is closed down by Connors. And a little joy on that far side at the moment for Lauderdale when they play out of the back. Cello leading the press. Hugh. Given space and time on the ball. Moyer. Also goes against Jamona. Select the official match ball supplier of the Gainbridge Super League and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. So Mace to play out of the back. She's got Hugh in support. And the Cello ravenous to win it back. Quickly in play now, Listro. Connors waiting in the 18 as Sydney Nacello drives at the defense. It's well defended by Moyer, who stands her ground. She hadn't been there too long. Shea Moyer, it's only her 8th start for the former Lexington captain, but you can see her pulling the strings in the midfield for Fort Lauderdale. It's a wonderful churn by Listro to get away from Thompson. Jamona allowed to churn again. Now onto her left is Carly Jamona! Bouncing in front of Craig and just wide. That's a dangerous proposition for Fort Lauderdale United if they're going to give Jamona chances from around the 18.
Exactly, and she's knocking. You can tell one of these is going to fall soon. She picks it up in that space again on the half turn, and she just drives towards goal. And she gets a better shot on this one. Tries to catch Craig sleeping on that near post, but just misses wide.
Just one back through Bissett. Enjoying a prolonged spell of possession here. Tampa Bay Sun, and it's cut short. Moyer. Van Treek. Was Fort Lauderdale United who had the first sight of goal, but it's been 4 shots now for Tampa Bay Sun. Half an hour played, and still waiting to see which side will draw first blood. Thompson is fouled. Locklear, long switch into the 18. Jamona comes back to collect. Connors. Jamona. She tried to go through the legs.
I don't mind the idea right there.
Back in through Haugen. Maybe abuse the long ball out of this near side.
I think so. I think the space is on the opposite channel, and especially in that like weak side 10 area, and Tampa Bay haven't really found that yet, but they have the players to sit in that space, but they're wanting to condense and then go long, and it's just not on right now.
Good pressure that time by Jamona. Halferty helps to win it back. At the feet of Listro. Connors couldn't hang on. Halferty now has room to roam. Pass left a little slack, looking for Nacello on the near side and cut out. Get the effort from Nacello to win this ball back. against Locklear. What a battle that is. So much what you played. Nasello just catching Locklear after the ball had gone. Free kick awarded to Fort Lauderdale. Just the one yellow card shown so far. It was to Taylor Chisholm back in the 14th minute.
And this is the derby that gets scrappy right here. And Nasello and Locklear, that's a good matchup. And you can tell she just tugged the jersey a little and just clipped her a little.
Both players with 6 goals this season. For Nasello, half that many have come against Fort Lauderdale.
Tampa Bay have to be disciplined in the box. Last year, we were not used to seeing them concede on set pieces, and this year that's been an issue for them. Box organization, discipline, and just individual defending.
Just one in the wall for Liz Beardsley, as Kat Gonzalez stands over it. Gonzalez delivers. Beardsley off her line, slapped away. And that'll lead to a corner kick for Fort Lauderdale. Well delivered to the heart of the area. Well defended by Tampa Bay. Still some defending to do. Sent in by Locklear. Gonzalez. Thompson, who's switched over to the right, finds Moyer in the middle. The first touch to get away from Jamona. So Beardsley to get us back underway with 10 minutes to play in this opening 45 and no breakthrough yet. It's one of the 3 meetings this season ending in draws. Scoreless draw to start things off in the very first. It's a 3-0 victory by Tampa Bay in their second meeting, and more recently a late equalizer that led to a 1-1 draw. Colvin sends this one wide. Gordon trying to get there. Again, it's well defended by the Tampa Bay Sun. It will lead to a goal kick. Seen more work from Sabrina McNeil on the defensive end in the course of these first 35 minutes.
And I think you can credit that to Gordon, just running that flank and really keeping McNeil honest and causing her to track back a lot so she can't get numbers forward.
Connors could get away here. Van Treek scrambles back just in time. Nasello loses her balance and with it possession. Thompson. Smith now working on this near side and had her pocket picked by Hendricks. Here's McNeil. Showing too much of the ball that time to her marker and dispossessed with a little help from Shania Gordon's positioning. Tonight's game is presented by Hard Rock Bet, bringing the thrill of the game straight to your fingertips. Could sense anytime the ball makes its way to Shea Moyer that she's trying to accelerate the play of Fort Lauderdale just a bit, trying to get them to play a little quicker.
She is, but when you're the only one pressing, they become a little stretched. And when you decide to press and high press, everybody has to go. And if not, you become stretched and they're able to play between the lines more.
Here's Gordon out wide. Driving at McNeil. Moyer now. Thought about the shot, thought better of it. Again, it's Gordon. Lifted goal bound, trying to find the top corner. And off target in the end.
And Shea Moyer and Gordon have both been so active and dynamic tonight. They're feeding off each other, taking each other's spaces, passing, moving, and Moyer's just been a lot to deal with for this Tampa Bay side. She's busy. She's always trying to get on the ball. She's passing. She's moving, and they need to start marking her more, and most of Fort Lauderdale's attack is starting from her and Gordon.
Long switch again, looking for McNeil on that far side. A team-high 27 touches for Sabrina McNeil in the course of this first half. Much of that in the build-up. Gordon combining with Smith. Listro's able to win it back for Tampa Bay. Haugen flying forward now with a little space to create. Scrambling back is Locklear, square ball into the heart of the area. And Connors just slightly overruns it. Good effort to win it back through Hauferty. Now Haugen. Early ball into the 18, and Cello's there. And are they a little stretch now for Fort Lauderdale to counter? With Colvin leading the charge. Some tenacious defending that time from McNeil to stop the counter.
And this is the problem with Tampa. You get numbers forward, you have to sustain possession. If you give it away, a cheap giveaway like that, you either have to foul or regain possession, and that's where they get caught in those transition moments.
Mace. Hugh. Locklear again out wide. Thompson battling against Bissett, who did well to pick her pocket. Listro finding absolutely no resistance, getting forward. Into space for Connors to chase. It's a long way to get there. Well, 3 teams have punched their ticket into the Gainbridge Super League playoffs. The season is far from over. Stay up to date on all the latest information, analysis, and insight by visiting GainbridgeSuperLeague.com. Kat Gonzalez leading the team forward out of the back now. Gordon out wide has help to the inside. So now Gordon will have a go herself, and similar results. Just doesn't get the ball to dip.
Fans, don't forget that all night tonight, all items in our merch store are 30% off.
Almost a carbon copy of her last effort.
And Gordon has been busy on that flank. For me, I'd like to see a little more patience out of Fort Lauderdale. Can they combine a little around the 18 instead of just point blank shooting from range? I get you have to test Beardsley a little bit, but I do think Fort Lauderdale's good enough to swing it a few times, patient, really break down that Tampa Bay defense.
Here's Hauferty. Chisholm. seen plenty of chances really for both teams. It's the quality of the chances that hasn't quite been there yet. 6 shots from Fort Lauderdale, 2 of those on target. Really comfortable saves. And for Tampa Bay Sun, maybe their best chance coming at the feet of Carly Jamona, whose effort was one saved by Craig and the other just wide.
And this will be a game of execution. Both teams are getting chances and creating opportunities, just about that final product and who has the quality to put one away.
Last touch by Moyer. Well defended by the captain, Gordon. So now turning defense into attack. Flighted forward, was looking for the run of Thompson. Alfredi sent it forward, Nasello.
Nasello needs a player underneath her. Anytime she receives the ball, she has a player on her. She needs a midfielder to set the ball off to and then run in behind. But right now, they're keeping Nasello's back to goal. That's exactly where they want her. Tampa Bay need numbers around her that she can play off of and combine.
Locklear showing a little frustration. Alfredi. Little deflection from Cat Gonzalez. Thompson had it poked loose by Visset. It's on now for Gonzalez. Squared across. She was looking for Moyer. Finding McNeil instead with a burst of acceleration, working here against Shania Gordon. And a nice step forward by Van Treek to deny Connors. Just making her uncomfortable. Final few seconds ticking off first half normal time. Thompson collects. Nasello. Strong challenge from Moyer. It's a great ball to find Locklear on the near side. Scrambling back is Haugen to get in front. Locklear's cross is dealt with by Hendricks at the near post, and it'll be a corner kick for Fort Lauderdale as we take into stoppage time. Probably the final kick of the opening half. Coming up. Corner kicks presented by All Your Cooling and Plumbing. As this ball is swung into the edge of the 18, here's Van Treek. And Nasello, just trying to take it to the corner flag, somewhere safe. Well, that was the final kick of the opening 45 minutes. No goals yet, as Fort Lauderdale United started out on the front foot. Tampa Bay Sun able to wrestle control away, and neither goalkeeper beaten yet in what is a scoreless opening half.
And both teams have had their chances. It's just going to be about quality and that final execution in the box. And right now, Tampa Bay look a little spread and they look a little stretched. And I'm not really sure what they're doing with their press. Fort Lauderdale, on the other hand, have been able to press them at times. But for me, it just comes down to that final quality on the ball and which team is going to have the ability to execute that.
Well, playing for the shirt, playing for pride. And no breakthrough as of yet. Halfway through at beyond Bankyard Field, Fort Lauderdale United and Tampa Bay Sun in a deadlock in their fourth and final derby of the season. We'll step aside for a quick commercial break and be back to show you the best of that opening half when we come back.
love Jacksonville. What a magical run it's been in their inaugural season.
Unbelievable! Lexington have doubled!
Carolina ascent on top.
Tremendous team goal for Power FC. Spokane on the scoreboard in a very important game for playoff positioning.
Today, we accomplished nothing. I mean it, not a thing. And it was kinda everything.
This spring, stay 3 nights and get a $50 Best Western gift card.
Prinks Tires in the USL help soccer journeys everywhere to drive harder. From city playgrounds to suburban sidelines. From early mornings to late nights. From fun with friends to winner takes all. From the biggest fan to the biggest heart. And at every turn, Prinks Tires will be there for the long haul.
Hi, I'm Sloan Smith with All Your Cooling. Staying cool in Florida has never been easier. With All Your Cooling, you'll get no money down, no payments until 2027, and a 10-year parts and labor warranty. And now you can claim federal tax credits up to $3,200. For over 50 years, families across Florida have trusted us to keep their homes comfortable. From same-day installs to expert repairs, we deliver the service you need when you need it. Don't wait until your AC gives out. Call us today, 855-818-3828, or scan the QR code below.
What does it mean to feel welcome? To not only be cared for, but to be cared about, to trust. At Baptist Health, this is the warmer side of care. So welcome to being treated with a human touch, where your best interest is our best interest. Here, we advance innovation and treatments through research while educating the next generation of experts close to home. Welcome to the warmer side of care. Welcome to Baptist Health.
Staying cool in Florida has never been easier. With All Your Cooling, you'll get no money down, no payments until 2027, and a 10-year parts and labor warranty. Don't wait until your AC gives out. Call us today, 855-818-3828, or scan the QR code below.
Halftime brought to you by iHeartRadio, your music, your teams, your station. 0-0 through the opening 45 at Beyond Bankert Field. Fort Lauderdale United still looking for their first shot on target and their first victory ever against Tampa Bay Sun. Here's a look at your out-of-town scores. Out-of-town scores presented by Delta Airlines, keeping you connected to the game wherever it's played. On Friday, it's DC Power tying 1-1 with Dallas Trinity. Coming up later tonight, 9 p.m., Spokane's effort taking on Lexington. And then one to watch here at 5 p.m. tomorrow is Brooklyn facing elimination against league leaders Sporting Jacks. A Jacksonville win or a Dallas win would make Brooklyn the third team to be knocked out of playoff contention, joining Fort Lauderdale and Tampa Bay. Now, Sporting Jacks have already punched their ticket to the postseason. Well, in the latest installment of our Built for Success docuseries, we're highlighting DC Power's Alexis Thierret. Here's a preview.
Alexis is a player that already made big strides to becoming one of the better players in the league.
Don't let it across, don't let it across.
She's an all-around player, and you don't see that often.
My dad was my first coach. At the beginning of this year, my father passed away, very unexpectedly.
This is Miss Nala. She has been my little emotional support baby.
Sporting Jacks takes the field against DC Power.
For her to go out there and still continue to go after her dream, it's very impressive.
Being a part of the Gainbridge Super League has meant a lot to me, and I'm really excited to see where the end of this year takes us.
Halftime brought to you by iHeartRadio, your music, your teams, your station. Chance now to look back at the best of the first 45 minutes. The highlights powered by Omega XL Sport. Fuel your recovery, fuel your game. And here's a look back at the best moments of that first 45, starting with Locklear here.
And she's driving at the back line. That's exactly where you want her. She does a little bit of a mistouch, but she's able to slot it back to Kat Gonzalez, and she just skies it over. But that's positive play from Fort Lauderdale to start off the game and just shift that momentum towards themselves. Sydney Nacello gets a foul, and she's able to hit this set piece and spin it right into that penalty spot area. Vivian Bissett gets on the end of this, but because she gets over it too much and heads it down, she just heads it right into the hands of Haley Cragen.
Couple of chances in the opening 6 minutes. It was Tampa Bay who had the better chances and the only shots on target in the first 45.
And this is where you want Carly Gimone to get it. Jordan Lee does a great job getting it to Carly. She gets on the half turn and she's able to put it on her left, and she just misses wide, but nobody really stops in Fort Lauderdale, so she finds her window, takes a shot, and she's had 2 chances of those this half. And going into the second half, if she can get more, they've had 2 shots on target, where if you look at Fort Lauderdale, 0 shots on target. That's definitely an area where they have to improve on that last bit of quality in the box.
Stats presented by Beyond Bankert, powering every transaction on and off the field. Big possession advantage to Fort Lauderdale United in the course of those first 45 minutes, but you'll be surprised to hear that Kara Locklear has not registered a shot in the game, and United is still looking for their first shot on target. We'll step aside for a quick commercial break. The second half on the other side. Stay with us.
One more time for the MacArthur High School Band. Fans, Omega XL Sport is the official joint and muscle supplement of Fort Lauderdale United, helping our athletes perform, excel, and recover with every match. I can walk over there. Don't forget to make plans to join your United family for our final home match of the season next Saturday, May 9th. That's the Fort Lauderdale United host Carolina Sisters.
And welcome back to Beyond Bankert Field. We're halfway through. Fort Lauderdale United 0, Tampa Bay Sun 0. Battle of two teams 11 months removed from that first historic final in the Gainbridge Super League. Needed extra time to decide that one. Nothing decided through the first 45 minutes in this contest. One game after both were mathematically knocked out of contention for the playoffs. From fighting for the very top to trying to avoid the very bottom with just a handful of games still to play. Erica, your first half standouts.
For me, Carly Jamona on Tampa Bay Sun. Every time they were able to get her on the half turn in that central area, she was able to get a shot on goal. And that's where she's best. You want that. And Fort Lauderdale haven't really been able to deal with her. You can see the back line drops off every time she gets the ball, so she's going to take that. So for me, if that's where they find success, they have to get her on the ball. Jordan Listro has to get it, face forward, and find Carly in that space. And find Nacello higher up the pitch. I know we talked about Nacello dropping down deep and getting on the ball, but if Jordan Listro faces up and can find Jamona and Nacello, then Fort Lauderdale are in for some real issues.
Three best chances of the half for Tampa Bay Sun was Vivian Bissette's header off the set piece by Nacello, and then the two chances by Carly Jamona, who is looking for her first goal since January 4th. And that win over Dallas, it's been 4 straight defeats since. Carly Jamona has been one of the biggest threats. On the other side, no shots in the course of that first 45 minutes for Kiara Locklear, who was back on the score sheet at the weekend. Her 13th goal for the club, tying Jasmine Hamid for a Fort Lauderdale record. Now Paul Jenninson looking for a response in this second half.
But Fort Lauderdale did find success on Shania Gordon's side. Her getting up, being very active on that right flank and just joining that attacking third. Shay Moyer getting on the ball and just combining with her teammates. They have found success in those areas, but it's about that final product. Can they get a service in and hit one of their teammates, not just a blind ball into the box, but an actual service? Pick out your teammate. If it's not on, spin out, recycle the ball, maintain possession around that 18, and really just have the patience to unlock a defense.
And seemingly playing without a out-and-out number 9. We've seen Colvin out wide, Thompson switching sides, and Locklear more often than not starting out on this left wing.
And I'd like to see Locklear in the frame of goal. She's your 9. She's your main goal scorer. Put her in frame of goal and set her up to finish those.
So it'll be Fort Lauderdale United to get this second half underway, moving from left to right on your screen. 0-0 through the first 45. Second half underway, and a promise that the best is yet to come in this fourth and final Florida derby of the season. Energetic start to the second half. This is given away to McNeil, and promptly puts it out of touch. Erica Timmerick was the first ever signing for Tampa Bay Sun ahead of their inaugural season, one that ended with her and her teammates lifting the trophy, having defeated this Fort Lauderdale United side. McNeil locked in a battle here with Shania Gordon. Gordon poked it loose.
And that's a matchup right there, Gordon versus McNeil. They're both defenders that want to get forward, that want to join the attack, so they're really keeping each other honest and just battling out with each other tonight.
Listro. I think Listro was signed a few days after you, a couple of weeks maybe?
I think a few days after me, yeah.
Here's Moyer. Moyer, one of the bright spots in that first half for Fort Lauderdale, pulling the strings in the midfield. Now Hugh driving past Victoria Haugen. Croston Hendricks dealt with the threat. Locklear sending it back into the middle. Colvin couldn't quite latch on, and Bissett happy to get it away. It's a dangerous pass, and now redirected just wide of the goal. The ball was left behind Halfrey, and it'll lead to a corner kick for Fort Lauderdale. Corner kick presented by All Year Cooling and Plumbing, expert service when it counts. Did it take a deflection? Played short, back to Van Treek. Once more, it's Kelly Van Treek. Now Gordon. Looking for Kate Colvin. Halford. More aggressive pressure now when they do lose the ball from Fort Lauderdale initially.
Yeah, they definitely
win it back.
They definitely came out more aggressive, more on the front foot this half.
McNeil does well to find Jamona in behind. Now Connors. Strong from Connors. And a chance to open a scoring. Delivered straight at Haley Craig. To the grateful waiting hands of the Fort Lauderdale goalkeeper.
And this all starts with Carly Jamona. She just uses her outside of her foot and plays Connors right into that half space. Connors takes a positive touch to prep herself, but she just passes it right to Haley Craig, and she's going to want that one back. She could have played it anywhere else and have the composure, just put that in the corner, and you're 1-0 up. But it's positive from Tampa, but again, it just comes down to that final product, that final last bit of execution.
So Connors, who scored on her debut at the weekend, in a cameo appearance off the bench, becoming the 5th player this season to score for Tampa Bay as a substitute, making her full debut tonight, and a chance to open the scoring early in the second half. Thompson trying to settle it, does so into the path of the captain, and Gordon sends it over the bar. It's her 3rd try from a long way out. All a long way off. That's a confident pass to McNeil on the near side.
It is, but it breaks the pressure.
Lovely ball dropped in for Connors. Halford. Now Jamona working on the near side. Bit of creativity from Halford. Doesn't quite reach Jamona. Almost feels as though Tampa Bay Sun welcome a more aggressive press from Fort Lauderdale United. That could open up some spaces in transition. Craig nearly makes a meal of this as Connors was closing her down. Now Jamona's there to win it back. Saw the passing lane, perhaps rushing her pass and losing her balance. Halford. It's good reaction from Halford. And the cello trying to play from memory as she misremembered.
That's too easy for me. If I'm Tampa Bay and I have that opportunity to really lock Fort Lauderdale in their corner, I'm getting numbers around the ball, but they're just, it's too easy, it's too passive.
Owned by Listro. Haugen. Jordan Listro. Seen quite a bit of this in the course of this game as players dribbling back toward their own defense as they're being closed down. Looked a neat touch initially from Kate Colvin. She's whistled for the foul and a high boot. Some flexibility to get there. All delivered in behind the back line for Jamona. Leaves it for Connors on her right. Connors creating just a little bit of space. It's on the wrong side of the net. That's one half chance and 2 chances for Connors since the start of the second half.
Exactly, and this is really good awareness from Tampa Bay, especially Vivian Bissett. She plays that long ball. She sees Jamona in that wide channel, and Carly Jamona takes such a smart touch to set up Shea Connors. And Look at this little touch over the top, and she actually makes a run around her, hoping to get it back, but Connors is able to get a shot off, but again, just that last bit of end product isn't good enough.
Heavy touch from Moyer. It's dispossessed by Listra. Now Haugen. Working here against Hugh. Listra. Piercing ball to find Jamona in traffic. She's bumped off the ball and fouled by Van Treek. And this is as good a dead ball situation as Tampa Bay has had.
Again, Carly Jamona causing problems for this Fort Lauderdale back line, and she's able to get it and tries to take a touch around Van Treek, and Van Treek just bumps her all the way to the ground, and Tampa Bay win a set piece, and these are the times to capitalize, especially this close to goal.
And so it's Sydney Nasello who stands over the ball. 4 on the wall for Craig. Nasello measures up. Fires goal bound. It's parried by Craig. Might have been on the outside of the post. She could not take a chance.
Sydney Nasello over the ball. She tries to just bend this near post, but Haley Craig has it covered, but she makes her make a save, and they win a set piece out of it.
Emma Halfordy. Looping ball into the edge of this 6. It was Thompson who got a touch on it. Still not quite cleared away. Gonzalez gets it there. Nasello sends it back. Could stay in. And finally trickles out for a goal kick. Well, tonight's game is presented by Vera Cadillac Buick GMC, South Florida's trusted destination for luxury and performance. I felt as though coming out of the halftime break, it was Fort Lauderdale had a little more energy and intensity to them, and that may have brought out a bit more intensity out of Tampa Bay Sun as well.
Yeah, I agree. Tampa Bay's definitely gotten the best of them this half, and they're able to regain it quickly and just keep it in Fort Lauderdale's half. That's where they want them. And Carly Jamona has been really active on the ball. Every time she gets it, something happens offensively.
Here's Colvin. Hold loose by Bissett. Jamona back in possession. Ball delivered in behind from McNeil. Gordon giving chase. And smartly wins a corner kick. Last touch by the captain, Gordon. 10 minutes gone in the second half.
And that's just good awareness by McNeil. She knew she didn't really have an angle or anything to do with that. So she just hits it off the shins of Gordon and wins a corner kick for her team.
Corner kicks presented by All Year Cooling and Plumbing. Expert service when it counts. It's the 8th corner for Tampa Bay Sun. Delivered. Back post, and Chisholm only able to knock it down. Offside flag comes up against Emily Thompson. Thompson, a local out of Miramar, Florida. She's the 3rd Broward County player to sign with Fort Lauderdale after Taylor Smith and Julia Grosso. Ball's dropped in for Jamona once more. She's providing a constant threat. And by Moyer. And Treek doesn't quite clear it out. Connors got tangled up at the edge of the 18. Here's looking at the referee, nothing given. And now finally given as a foul against Tampa Bay, against Connors.
Connors getting on the ball and trying to face up and wanting the penalty there. For me, there's not enough there, and then there's just a scramble at the top of the box. It's more positive, though, from Tampa. They're definitely putting the pressure on this Fort Lauderdale back line.
The game is inching ever closer to Haley Craig's goal in the course of this second half.
It is, and I think Vivian Bissette's having really good awareness of when to build out of the back and when to go long and break that pressure. And the times they have found success, Bissette have found Jamona in that wide channel, and they've been able to create from that. So
Cello, Haugen out in front, trying to square that ball in, and good effort from Abby Hughes, scrambling all the way back, getting a touch to deny the cross, and now slow to get up. Will be a corner for Tampa Bay, but right now all the attention and concern for Hugh.
And it's a good defensive effort by Hughes. She just throws her body in front of that, preventing any type of cross on goal.
So as we tick toward the hour mark, another chance from a corner kick, as Tampa Bay in search of the opening goal. Halferty and swinger back post this time. Chisholm was the intended target, and Cello trying to get forward. And Tampa Bay Sun will have a throw deep in Fort Lauderdale territory. Connors into traffic, delivered. First Jamona and then Haugen closest to it. It was a searching ball.
Tampa Bay on these set pieces, on these corner kicks, there's not enough movement in the box for me. They're all staying in their starting positions and ending there. You have to have opposite runs. You have to have a slashing near post run to draw people in. You have to have that late back post run. But when it's stagnant, it's really easy to defend. And they've had so many corner kicks, and they aren't able to capitalize on any of them.
Chisholm whistled for the foul there. Does have to be on her best behavior. She picked up the game's only yellow card back in the 14th minute. Restarted through Van Treek. Gordon. We are now an hour into this contest, and Fort Lauderdale have yet to register a shot on target. Usually working on a clean sheet without a save.
And you can credit a lot of that to the Tampa Bay back line. They have been condensed, they have been disciplined in their marking, and they haven't really been caught on transition much.
Colvin. Comes to cross in, back post. Locklear will chase this one down. Mace will send it back. That's given away to Cello. Looking for Connors inside of the 18. Very short spells of possession now for Fort Lauderdale. This is swung it back post. The headers over the crossbar from Jamona.
And you can feel the momentum picking up. It's a great ball from Haugen, just that back post area. Carly Jamona's open. She can't quite get over it, and she ends up skying it over, and she has two players marking her. If she can head it back across goal for a Tampa Bay attacker running in on that, that would be ideal there, but Tampa Bay have to have that awareness to get more numbers into the box.
And again, Fort Lauderdale can't get out of their own half. Alfredi, Cello had that one poked away. Here's Colvin. Chisholm, Jamona into stride for McNeil. Working once more against Gordon. I'll give it against Carly Jamona there for a slight push. Well, the Gainbridge Super League playoffs are just a few weeks away. We're tracking all the possible scenarios. You can visit GainbridgeSuperLeague.com/newsletter to get updates on all your favorite teams and stories from around the league delivered directly into your inbox. Quickly, Tampa Bay back in possession. Now Listro. Spotted Jamona, who was coming back toward the ball. Moyer. The moment that ball crosses the midfield line, Tampa Bay get it straight back. Chisholm. Defensively, there's been a lot to like about the Sun in this contest. Hendricks. Nasello sprinting to get there. It'll be a goal kick in the end. Chisholm. Jamona trying to dummy that through for Connors. How often in this second half have we seen Taylor Chisholm intercept and win the ball back?
Yeah, she's been
midfield line.
She's been great defensively, and I think Tampa Bay have actually had a really good defensive game, not only from a defending standpoint, but playing out of the back, choosing when to go long, when to build out, and just being really intentional about going direct or trying to play possession.
McNeil, good delivery to find Nasello in the box. Now on her left is Nasello. She hasn't had much of a sight on goal, but got an opportunity there. You know, will be stretched the other way as Colvin squares the ball across. Locklear, first time effort, and that's her first shot of this game. All arriving a little awkwardly. They have not given her an inch. So Shea Connors will exit after her full debut. Faith Webbers, who started at the weekend, will be coming in to replace her. Weber, who joined on loan from Denver Summit in a deal that sent Tosh Flint the other way. Substitution presented by Omega XL Sport. Fuel your recovery, fuel your game. Haugen getting it forward. First touches for Weber. Lovely ball into the area for Nasello. Now taking a more attacking approach, and she's won. A penalty for Tampa Bay. And a chance to break the deadlock from the spot. And the moment Nasello plays closer to goal, good things start to happen for the Sun.
Exactly, and we talked about this pregame. Get Sydney Nasello in and around the 18. Anytime she's on the ball, she's on the dribble. She's nearly impossible to defend. She's not even facing the goal right now. And for me, Moyer does not need a foul there. Her back's towards goal. She's dribbling outside the 18. That was unnecessary and sloppy defending, but credit to Sydney Nasello.
So Fort Lauderdale have given up the most penalties in the league. 5 penalty kicks attempted by the opposition, all 5 converted. A chance for number 6 now.
And you can see the chippiness has starting to begin. It looks like Faith Weber's over that. That's a lot to sub into a game and a couple minutes later take a pen when it's 0-0.
The Denver Summit loanee has 1 goal already on the season. Haley Craig standing her ground, and Weber beats her. There's the opener. Fresh legs off the bench, and Faith Weber instantly onto the score sheet. How was that for an introduction? As the Tampa Bay Sun take the lead, now looking to make it 9 straight without a loss against their in-state rivals.
And what a finish from Faith Weber, coming off the bench and having the confidence to take this. And it all starts from Sydney Nasello. An unnecessary foul, but she takes it. And Faith Weber steps up. She doesn't hint where she's going to hit it, and she just slots it across her body. She hits it with conviction. She hits it with power, but she hits it with placement. She knows exactly where she's putting that.
For Faith Weber, her first touch of the game puts the ball in the back of the net.
Not a bad day at the office for her.
That's efficiency. So just over 20 minutes remain. 1-0 to Tampa Bay. Their 26th goal of the season. Only the 10th they've scored away from home. Says whistled against Emily Thompson. How does the game change now for Fort Lauderdale and Tampa Bay?
I think Fort Lauderdale have to be a lot more urgent and aggressive. They have let Tampa Bay have the ball in their half a lot. Tampa Bay has been gaining momentum. They have been gaining a rhythm, and they've been creating a ton of chances. Fort Lauderdale now has to step up. They have to make it difficult for them to keep the ball. They have to press them more. They have to win more regains, 50-50 second balls, and then hopefully can shift that momentum back into their favor. But right now, it's way too easy for Tampa Bay to move it. And I know one of our keys to the game for Fort Lauderdale was box defending, and Moyer's been great all day, but that was just sloppy defending, and Nasello wasn't even facing goal. So it was
going away from goal.
Exactly, unnecessary foul.
Here's Nasello back on the ball as Weber tries to run in behind. Nasello continues her run. One back through Weber. Faith Weber's cross near post. It'll trickle out for a goal kick. It's a deserved lead for Tampa Bay Sun, who have dominated the second half. They've barely let Fort Lauderdale out of their own half.
It was. It's been building. You can tell at halftime they went in, they made some tactical adjustments, and they came out a lot more aggressive on the front foot. They're pressing more. They're being really intentional, building out of the back, when to go long, when to play short. And off the build, they're finding Hagen on that right-hand side that just beats 2 lines of defense, and it just beats that initial Fort Lauderdale press. So they're already out, and then Hagen takes a positive touch forward, and they're already at halfway where they can build and create from there.
Denise Schulte-Brown, by the way, finding some positive in-game changes when the substitutes that came in against Carolina, Jillian Connors, combined on the goal late in that game to make it 1-1 before they ultimately conceded a game winner. Today she brings on Faith Weber, and she steps up from the spot to give them the go-ahead goal.
Exactly, and I think she recognized that Shay Connors was getting in really good position. She just couldn't finish, so she subbed her out, put Weber in, and knew that Weber would be getting in similar positions.
Here's Daniela Todd, who's just entered the game. Tonight's game is presented by Hard Rock Bet, bringing the thrill of the game straight to your fingertips. Alfredi. Weber there to clean up. So the 2 changes made by Paul Jennison. See Leveni Vaca, who's back from her 1-game suspension, replacing Taylor Smith. Well, Daniela Todd, Academy product, is in for Emily Thompson. There's Nasello now working on the near side, waiting for help to arrive. Haugen. The touch from Weber, couldn't quite keep that in play, and Tampa Bay will make another substitution. Jilly Shimkin, having checked into the previous game and provided the assist, will now come on with just under 20 minutes remaining of normal time, and she'll replace Victoria Haugen.
A little game management with the power walk coming off. Victoria Haugen put in a really good shift. I think she was utilized perfectly in this game. She was in that wide area, almost as a wing back, and they were able to use her to break that Fort Lauderdale press and to advance them into that half final third. Jilly Shimkin, though, we know what she can do. She's good on the ball. She's tidy. She covers a lot of ground. She's good on both sides of the ball, so if she can just help close out this game for them.
Fort Lauderdale dominated possession in the course of the first 45 minutes. It's been the exact opposite since the restart. Tampa Bay monopolized the ball. Tipped in wide for Weber. It'll be a throw deep in Fort Lauderdale territory. Cello looking to combine with Weber. Last touch by Hugh. Rinse and repeat. Alfredi. Lead chip from Nasello. Tried to cross, looking for McNeil on this near side. Jamona will chase this one down. Poked loose, but Fort Lauderdale United have only heard rumors about the ball since the second half began. And it's all played close to Haley Craig's goal. And to borrow the word you used game management from Tampa Bay Sun. It's a fragile lead, up just a 0-0. They're keeping that ball away from Beardsley's goal where they could do any danger with it.
But Tampa Bay have to be careful because all it takes is one transitional moment from Fort Lauderdale, and we've seen it late in the game from them. And they are good on transition. They're not great at keeping the ball, maintaining rhythm, so they have to be aware on those transition moments when Tampa Bay gets numbers up the field. They have to be confident in securing the ball.
Here's Gordon. Colvin. Nasello with all kinds of space and time to consider her options. Has McNeil on this near side. Lead in behind. Alfredi there. Chip back in toward the middle. And Jamona does find the bottom of the corner. Well, she'd been knocking on the door all game long, Carly Jamona, and she may have just put the game out of reach. Third time of asking. She finds her 5th goal of the season.
And Tampa Bay Sun exploiting these wide channels. It's such a cheeky little ball from McNeil right into that half space. And then Carly Jamona, top of the box, salivating for a ball like this. Just picking it up, picking her head up, knowing exactly where she's gonna hit it. She just bends that with such composure into that bottom corner. And we knew she was knocking, and Carly Jamona answered.
Her first goal since January 4th against Dallas in a win. And that goal, an insurance policy on the 3 points. As for the moment, Tampa Bay Sun climbing out of last place ahead of their in-state rivals.
And it was a good team build. It all started from Sydney Nasello scooping it up at halfway and just running with it and being able to exploit that wide channel, a little cheeky ball into the half space and then a cut back to the top of the 18.
Fort Lauderdale looking for a response. Gordon gets there ahead of Nasello. Vaca. Rising at the edge of the 18. Fort Lauderdale wanted a foul. Emily Thompson goes to ground. Now Hugh to build out of the back. Long ball forward, but to no one in particular. And Beersley's they're happy to collect. Weber against the world. Lovely touch to control, but in traffic was just jarred loose by Hugh. So there's the introduction of Maddie Picorni, Sienna Bryan, and Gabby Provenzano all checking in for Tampa Bay. Gabby will take up a spot in the midfield. She'll replace Anna Halferty. Sydney Nasello makes way as Maddie Picorni checks in. And Sienna Bryan, just 18 years old, made her debut at 16. Will be checking in as the final substitution for Tampa Bay Sun. Outswinger toward the penalty spot. Picorni with her first touch. So Sabrina McNeil exits. She's replaced by Sienna Bryan. Halferty makes way for Provenzano, and Nasello is replaced by Maddie Picorni.
And Sienna Bryan, I played with her last year at Tampa. She's such a young player, but she's so good. She has so much promise. She's going to be a really good player, and she's just defensively so solid. She has really good composure on the ball, and she's just a workhorse on both sides of the ball.
Second youngest player to feature in this league when she debuted.
And you wouldn't think you put a player like that young in to manage a game like this, but she has so much composure and she has very good pitch awareness. She knows when to play long, when to play out of pressure. And she's just one of those players that you can count on and is dependable in a game like this.
Good ball movement from Tampa Bay. It swung into the area, dealt with by Hugh. And Daniela Todd did well to avoid the corner kick.
And Tampa Bay do well when they get on the score sheet. They're able to maintain a rhythm and a composure, and you can see what they want to do with the ball. They have a set identity of how they want to move it. They like to exploit the wide channels and then go central, and you see that after they score a goal, they can really take a breath and play how they want to play.
Here's Gabby. Chisholm. Sienna Bryan working against Gordon on this near side. It's a throw quickly in, but a little too quick as referee wants to make time for Fort Lauderdale to make a substitution here. We'll see the introduction of 16-year-old Jules Cagle on the Fort Lauderdale Academy, replacing Kate Colvin. Weber now driving at the defense. Goes for goal herself, trying to surprise Craig at the near post. The goalkeeper up to the task. So it took until the 67th minute. Penalty won by Sydney Nicello, converted by Faith Weber to break the deadlock. 10 minutes later, Carly Jamona would double the lead in the 77th. And still, Tampa Bay are on the throttle. Swing in back post. And the follow-up effort is off target, goal kick for Haley Craig. Gordon. Fouls whistled against Chisholm. Free kick awarded to Fort Lauderdale. And now a chance to make those substitutions with Jules Cagle checking in for her third appearance. Played just 9 minutes all season long, but making her Gainbridge Super League debut is former U.S. international and World Cup winner Ali Long. She'll step in to replace Kelly Van Treek.
And this is big time for Fort Lauderdale and the Gainbridge Super League to have a player like Long come in. So much experience, such a career. And I've played against her for 10 plus years. She is ruthless in the midfield. She covers ground. She's so good on the ball. She defends well. She makes those last ditch tackles, and she's a leader. You can see she's already pulling the strings, telling people where to go.
So here's Gordon in possession now. Fort Lauderdale trying to fight their way back into this contest. Shania Gordon goes to ground and wins a penalty. Well, it could be game on. Mentioned Fort Lauderdale United conceded a league high 5 penalties, 6 with tonight. It's the most of any team. Well, Tampa Bay tied for second with 4 coming into tonight. That's the 5th time now that they've allowed a penalty, and they could cut the deficit in half. Chisholm, the guilty party.
And Gordon has been so active on this right flank, but for me, you don't have to make a tackle there. She's not facing goal. She's not really an immediate threat. You do not have to go to emergency defending right there. Another careless giveaway in the 18.
So Gordon, who drew the penalty, will take it herself. Liz Beardsley has not had a save to make until now, with 5 minutes left. The captain, Shania Gordon, wins the penalty and converts it, cutting the deficit in half. It is game on for the final 5 minutes. Second goal of the season for Gordon.
And that's exactly why she wears the captain's armband. She's been a bright spot for this Fort Lauderdale side all game long. And she steps up with such composure, and she goes right down the middle. She hits it with such precision, such conviction, and now it's a game. 5 minutes left plus stoppage. All bets are off.
United's first shot on target finds the back of the net. And how important for Tampa Bay is that Carly Jamona goal now?
And it seems like Fort Lauderdale have a new spark to them that we haven't really seen all game.
Seen O'Brien trying to provide a spark. She's dispossessed. Moyer wins it back. Blasted out of the back only as far as Chisholm. Sophie Harding entering the game for Fort Lauderdale United and taking over from Maggie Mace. Provenzano. Bryan losing her balance and within wet possession for Tampa Bay. Some of the biggest factors in the course of these 87 plus minutes is how often the Sun just dispossess Fort Lauderdale when they reach that midfield line. especially in the course of this second half. Pulled back, and it's Daniela Todd, who's there to win it back for Fort Lauderdale. Todd, who started the season on an academy contract before signing her first pro deal ahead of this spring season. Previously played for Columbia's U17s. I understand why it was Shania Gordon, who's the captain, who drew the penalty, why she took it, but what a chance to provide the headlines should Ali Long have stepped up from 12 paces out. It's blasted out of the back by Bissett. Listra. Took forward for Faith Weber, playing with her back to goal. Carly Gimona very much leading the attacking line now. Listra. Sienna Bryan is closed down quickly. There's Listra to win it back. It's not an easy control for Carly Gimona, who's then chopped down instantly by Jules Cagle.
It's not, but it's a smart play from Gimona. She collects it, and she just takes a touch across her defender, almost baiting that foul and just slowing the momentum down a little bit for Fort Lauderdale.
Hit high and hard and settled it into stride with not an issue, Carly Gimona.
Yeah, exactly.
So now Sophie Harding entering the game as Maggie Mace makes her exit. Substitution presented by Omega XL Sport. Fuel your recovery, fuel your game. Less than 30 seconds remain of the 90 minutes. Weber leaves it for Gimona. Weber gets past the marking of Moyer. It's Weber now on her right. That challenge from the substitute Vaca, taking all the sting off of the chance. Corner kick incoming. 5 minutes added on. It's a minimum 5 minutes.
And this is a good test for Tampa Bay. They've had dominant possession in the second half. They've had control of the game. They put away their chances. Can they close out this game? Can they manage the game? Can they manage the emotions?
Ryan taking up a more central position now. Craig gets that away, looking for Harding up top. Thompson. Seen more and more of Bissett stepping into the midfield, stepping higher up to stop the approach of Fort Lauderdale in the second half.
She's done a really good job, and I think one of the reasons Tampa Bay's been so successful defensively is because they haven't been stretched, and their back line has gotten up with their midfield line, which makes such a difference, especially in possession.
Cagle. Knocked down by Hendricks. Doesn't lose many aerial duels, Brooke Hendricks.
No, that's one of her strengths, and especially on set pieces, if Tampa Bay can start looking for her more, especially on corners, she has such a height advantage, and she's really good in the air. But between her and Bissett, they both make such a good duo, especially from an aerial threat standpoint.
It's a good combination of athleticism and technical quality when they were a duo, now a trio with Chisholm joining them in the back line. Craig will collect. Happy to keep players behind the ball now. Tampa Bay Sun with this 1-goal lead. Halfway through time added on. Jilly sends that one forward to good effect as she finds Carly Jamona. It's Faith Weber who's running in behind. Jamona happy to take it over to the corner flag and squeeze seconds out of the clock. Goal kick. Ali Long trying to get there. Ball's delivered in behind for Faith Weber. Dangerous challenge from behind, and Weber's shot across the mouth of goal misses the mark.
I thought Weber was going to go down there for a second. Try and buy another pen.
Only had eyes for goal. Worth noting for Ali Long, her last full season was in the NWSL back in 2023, a title-winning campaign with Gotham after she came back from giving birth to twins. Tonight making her Gainbridge Super League debut, and 38 years old, still has a lot to give. She says they're gonna have to drag her off at age 49.
She's a true footballer. She loves the game. She loves watching it. She loves playing it. And she's just one of those players that you can tell she just sees the game at a different level. Her awareness, her vision is just elite.
Three-time NWSL champion, 2 different clubs, World Cup winner in 2019. Spaka rolls this one back to Craig. Here she is, Ali Long. Thompson. Locklear. It's a promising approach now in the final seconds of time added on. Delivered goal bound and plucked out of the air by Beardsley. There was the moment. Beardsley under some pressure, did get it away. Thompson has won it back in a short pitch to counter. Moyer. Here's Cagle. Cross driven into the back post. Beardsley comes away to punch it out. She had to get there and did. Back into traffic, and this time it'll be smothered by Liz Beardsley. But a comfortable outing up until the final minutes of this contest. Well, there's the final whistle as Tampa Bay Sun lift themselves out of the bottom of the table to the relief of Denise Shelter-Brown. All the goal scoring happening in this second half, where the Sun broke the deadlock from this spot via Faith Weber coming off the bench to give them a 1-0 lead in the 67th. United would make a game of it with the captain, Shania Gordon, leveling it in the 86th, rather pulling them back to within a goal in the 86th. But it's Carly Jamona who gets the game winner in the 77th, and all 3 points to the Sun. Well, the save of the game presented by Omega XL Sport. Powerful protection when it matters most. It was Nacello's free kick denied by Haley Craig.
And Nacello tries to go near post there, but Haley Craig has it covered. She read it well, and she was able to make that save.
Well, your player of the match presented by Baptist Health. Excellence on the field, supported by excellence in care. And Shania Gordon getting her second goal of the season. The captain brought Fort Lauderdale back into this contest to make it an exciting finish. 4 minutes from time. There were chances for United to get back.
And she was active all game, especially on that flank. She won her team a goal, and she just led her team the entire night. She was bright, she was active, she was dynamic, and it's a reason she wears the captain's armband.
On both sides of the ball, Shania Gordon making her impact. The final score from beyond Bankert Field: Tampa Bay Sun 2, Fort Lauderdale United 1, as the Sun continue unbeaten against their in-state rivals in 9 straight.
United fans, you never have to be without your Fort Lauderdale United FC. Don't miss a single match, whether at home or on the road. You can catch every United game this season on local Central Fan Appreciation Night. For tickets and more information, just log on to FTLUTT.com.
So a full 90 minutes in the rear view as Fort Lauderdale United fall to Tampa Bay Sun 2-1. All the goals happening in the second half with Weber and Jamona on the score sheet for the visiting Sun. Fort Lauderdale United getting one back from the spot by Shania Gordon. Here's a look back at the best of the 90 minutes with all the goal scoring happening after the halftime break.
And Tampa Bay was just so active in the second half. And Nacella, anytime she gets a ball in and around the 18, something's going to happen. She wins her team a pen, and Faith Weber is able to step up and hit it home and get them on the score sheet.
Well, to disguise where she was going with that shot, she beats Haley Craig for the opener.
And such a good ball in this half space right here. McNeil really just takes advantage of that. And it's a little chip back into the pen spot, a little bobble, and then Carly Jamona just picks it up so perfectly. She is able to just run onto this and hit this first time, and she sees a little bit of a corner and she just bends it around with the inside of her foot, opens her hips up and just slices that home.
Lovely finish that leaves Haley Craig planted. That makes it 2-0. They would need that second goal because here Taylor Chisholm brings down Shania Gordon, and Gordon would step up from 12 paces to 11 or pull one back.
And Shania Gordon has been active all night. We knew we were going to hear from her, and she just steps up, takes the PK, gives her team a little bit of spark, but it's not enough to put them back on the score sheet.
So leading by example, the captain gets one back, her second of the season. They fall short. Here's a look at the numbers from those 90 minutes. That was the first and only shot on target from Fort Lauderdale United, courtesy of Gordon, finding the back of the net. Possession numbers still in favor of Fort Lauderdale United, though evened out in the course of that second half. And the only yellow card of the game was given to Taylor Chisholm back in the 14th minute.
And it's interesting, even though Tampa Bay didn't have possession, they had momentum majority of the game, especially in that second half. And at the end of the day, they capitalized on their opportunities. 7 shots on target with 2 goals, and they were just clinical and were able to finish that end product.
In a game in which they were playing for pride, Tampa Bay Sun lift themselves out of last place on the table. They leapfrog their in-state rivals, Fort Lauderdale United. The Sun now in 8th, United in 9th, holding up the table. Well, for Erica Timrek, I'm Dre Cordero. The final score one final time. Tampa Bay Sun 2, Fort Lauderdale United 1 from beyond Bankert Field.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.